GitLab serves as a powerful CI/CD platform and really a platform for general automation for a variety of purposes. But sometimes you want your source code to live somewhere else, the source code that's actually being operated on by the CI pipeline. And there are mechanisms for doing that, most of which use repository mirroring. So they actually copy the repository on a regular basis, maybe on every push, over to GitLab and then run the CI there, whether the original source is from another GitLab instance or whether it's from another source code management system. Either way, you can use GitLab to only do the CI. The challenge there is that the normal way to use GitLab CI is to have a GitLab-ci YAML file in the repository itself, which is great because it's version controlled and managed alongside the code that it is processing. But it also introduces the challenge of what if that repository lives in an external Git system and you don't necessarily want to stick your GitLab CI YAML in an external system. You kind of want it to be added in to the repository when it copies over. And so we're going to look at a way of doing that. It's a way of using GitLab for CI only, where the CI configuration lives separately from the mirrored project. So this is just a really, really bare bones simple example. I have a source repo, so we're going to imagine that this is on another Git server somewhere, and that we want to mirror this onto this Git server, which we've done here using what I'm just calling the target project. So this is a mirror of the source project. That's so that we can perform our CI operations on that. And so mirrors update every 5 minutes, or if there's been a new push, basically, is the default behavior for mirrors. And that's the normal operational latency associated with mirroring and with external CI. Now, the challenge here is this repo, the source repo, doesn't contain the GitLab CI YAML, right? It's just a README. That's fine. And so when it comes over to the target project, how do you actually run CI on it? Well, you might be tempted to sort of try and merge a CI YAML configuration from somewhere else into this when you do the push, but that seems a little fragile and maybe an extra step that's not entirely necessary. Instead, what we can do is we can actually say we can tell this project in the project metadata, in the project settings, we can tell it, don't use CI from a local file within the repo, use it from an external source. And the way we can do that is under settings, CI/CD, under general pipelines, there's actually a specific syntax that actually uses the @ symbol to say, hey, go into this other project and pull the CI configuration from that other project. And it's this file that we're going to pull. Now, that's pulling directly from Git. You can actually specify a ref. And it's important to note that this is independent of any includes that are happening over there. So let's look at this file here. Here I'm in my CE configuration. So this could be in a library or a component catalog or some other more static location on the target GitLab instance. And you can have any number of CI configurations here. I tend to build big libraries for clients sometimes, but in this case, we've just got this one. So this might be the GitLab CI that's designed to run on the library itself. This is that one that we're going to include. Sorry, we're not going to include it. We're actually going to use it in the settings as the primary CI configuration for that repository. Now, this could have include statements in it. This particular one doesn't, though I've added two steps to my script. One is to cat the README. This is to show that I actually have pulled content from the source repo that I can actually process. The second is to echo out a variable, and this allows you to set settings in the target project that can still be used in CI. So if I go back to the target project here and I look at settings, CI/CD again, and I look at variables, I'm setting this in the target project. So the source project doesn't know anything about this. These are if there's any particular settings that you need to apply, such as, which jobs to use or whatever, you can apply them there in the target project. And so this job actually references that this is managed completely separately. So as soon as that mirroring happens, the pipeline runs and we see the output. So here is the pipeline. it is run, and I can see that it has catted the README and it has echoed the value of the variable that was set in the target project. So code from the source repository and the source GitLab instance, settings and variables from the target project, which has been set up to mirror that, all processed through a CD configuration that lives in a third location. Now, the one catch here is that this CI configuration here isn't project specific. It's not tied to the source code of the project, but if it's a general templated format, it can still use variables. Can't use inputs, but it can use variables. Hope this is helpful, and thanks so much for watching.